Hey, and welcome to Tell More Stories and layout number 6. This time I have a Halloween themed layout for you in, not so typical Halloween colors as you can see maybe. So these pictures were taken back in October 2019, as we could not have a Halloween last year in 2020 because of COVID. So I'm finally telling the story of that Halloween, and as you can see, I'm using quite different colors this time. And here I also made a mistake, and I had to reprint that picture and then use the punch again. I'm using Ellie Edwards' Hearts kit, and I'm using the digital version of it. I've printed the 6x8 paper out again because, I don't know, I did not want to use the original one. And I also used one of the papers and printed it on a transparency to put in between the two pages. I also used some of the papers to create 2x2 paper pieces, and I also added some digital stamps on some of them and will include them in the page protector that I already started decorating there, the one with the 2x2 pockets. So the punch I'm using here is actually for passport pictures, I think. I will link it below to my Amazon store. It's quite expensive, but it's pretty cool to punch 2x2 paper pieces, like in this case. The heart on there I also used from one of the 12x12 papers from the digital version. I'm going to cut it out by hand. So I'm just putting everything in right now, and later you will see that I do rearrange some things. Take out things and put in other things. I've also used some of the plastic hearts there. And I think I've chosen the colors, or this kit in particular, because of the photos. They are pretty light and they look really nice with the these pastel colors, and I think it's something different to use non-Halloween colors on a Halloween layout. So you'll see that, of course, you can do that, especially if you're not into the traditional colors. And that goes for Christmas as well as for Halloween or Easter or whatever holidays you celebrate. So I'm keeping the 6x8 page and the transparency outside of the page protector. So I'm using the size 7.25 inch by 8 inch. That's the size for things outside of the page protector. I'm really a big fan of transparencies, and you don't usually get them anymore. So I really enjoy creating them myself with papers. And in this case, that's my little trick. I'm using transparencies for inkjet printers. I have a Canon Pixma, and these transparencies, they have like a smooth side and a rough side, and that's why I mirror my paper in Photoshop and print it mirrored, so that when I turn it around like it is now, I have the smooth side yeah, at the top. Next up, I really wanted to add something black into my layout here, and I'm using some Halloween stamps from Ali Edwards, and I'm using the bat and the date stamp October 31st, and I'm going for embossing, which I'm not an expert of, but well, why not give it a try, right? So I'm getting out my heat gun. It's the heated tool, I think, by Ranger. I've had it for 10 or 11 years, and it still works like a charm, right? Knock on wood. And I'm using Versamark ink and some black, I think it's Wow embossing powder here, and just simple cardstock paper. Like I said, I'm not an expert on embossing. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes I like the result and next time I don't, so it's really a trial and error for me. And I'm doing different stamp images just to get yeah, the perfect image. And the Versamark that I'm using here, I think is also probably about 10 years old. I'm not really sure. Probably not 10 years. I got the heat tool when I started with art journaling, and I did my art journaling videos. So if you're ever interested in those, you can, I don't know if I still have them in my playlist or if I set them to private. So again, reorganizing my stamps by themes really made a difference. Here I have a set with different holidays and celebrations, so it makes it so much easier if I'm looking for something like in this case Halloween themed, or celebrating something. Makes it so much easier to find the perfect stamp. So really, this has been the best decision I've ever made. Thanks, Laura Wanzig. So, and it's also really nice to not have a huge amount of stamps and not really knowing what you have. It was really, really nice to let go of all of the stamps that I will never, ever use in my life. Right, and this is what comes with when you have a subscription. You get stamps that you wouldn't have bought, or that you just know that you'll never use. So it's good to make a change to that. and to just keep what you use. So I've gotten out a new Versamark ink pad. I bought it already a while ago and never gotten around to use it. And while I was embossing on this white cardstock here, I kind of started thinking, why not use a transparency and stamp on that one? That would be so much cooler. And I'm using a transparency here that is heat resistant, so you can use it for embossing and things like that. And I think I bought it for December daily because I thought, well, maybe I'm gonna make some transparencies with red embossing powder myself, which I didn't do. I made some with what's it called? Paste. Oh gosh, I can't think of the word. Structure paste? No, texture paste. That's the word. So, I did the October 31st here, embossed it, and now I'm going to get out my StazOn ink, because then it clicked like, hey, StazOn can be used on transparencies. So I said, why not give it a go? And in the end, I decided to go with the stamped images that I stamped with StazOn. So I got all of my embossing stuff out and never got around to use it. But I played around a little bit, which was fun also. So with StazOn on slick surfaces, you always have to be very careful because it, you know, tends to move around a little bit when you're not, when your hand is not steady, and it can give you impressions that are not so nice. So, I liked the StazOn ink impression on the transparency better than the embossed one, so I went for that one. The little tablet thingy that I have there is from Sizzix. It's really nice to use for embossing because you can just have all the embossing powder in there, and then once you're done, you unscrew the little thingy there and you can put it back into the tube or wherever the powder is in. So I'm getting out my little 2-inch square punch here and punching out October 31st and the bat. And with this punch you always have to get really close to the image, so you need to cut very close to the image. And this time when punching I did not mess up. Nothing moved, no crooked images. Everything stayed in place. So now I'm starting to rearrange everything in my pockets here. I'm really liking the black images there of the bat and the date. And as you can see, I'm moving from the pockets to the journaling it always gives me like a little creative break. To come up with the new ideas that I want to do. I'm using Ali Edwards pens here. Right now I'm using the Slick Rider, which is for, as it says, slick surfaces like photos or transparencies. And right there I'm using the Precision pen, which has a finer tip. So Halloween 2019, I made a costume for my son. He was a zombie soccer player, which was fun because we only had to use his football clothing, and I bought a little bit of makeup, styled his hair, and ready was my little zombie soccer player. So we'll see what will happen this year with Halloween. So next up I'm getting my chipboards, I think. First some cleaning up. Always a good thing to do, to clean up your desk in between. Also, it looks much nicer on the video, doesn't it? Right, so I'm getting my chipboards now. I've put them into these containers like Ali Edwards, and I love it. Really. If you're looking, I sorted them by shape, and it's the best thing I've ever done. Because as you can see there now, I'm looking for certain shapes. I'm looking for like little squares and these hexagon shapes. And all I have to do is go into the box where that shape is, and I'm good to go. Really, and when new kids come in, I usually try to use up everything now, and if I don't, then I just put the rest into the containers. It's really efficient. So I'm going with just one heart on this side of the layout, and I'm going with the pink one, which I'm just gonna put behind my little transparency there of October 31st, and I'm going to adhere it with a staple, and I think it looks awesome. And now I've just created 2 more slots for my chipboard pieces, and I'm just taking the paper off the back, and I'm using scissors, and I'm adhering the chipboard pieces inside the pocket. You could easily do it outside as well, but in this case it was possible to put them inside, so that's what I did. I just had to open the pocket a little bit and then arrange the chipboard. And I think we are almost done with this layout here. I think I'm going to punch holes into the transparency now, and I'm trying to do it with my 6-hole punch, and really, I don't know how Ali Edwards does it, but I cannot hold 2 pages together and then use the 6-hole punch. It's too slippery. It does not work for me. So, and I get easily frustrated, so I do it how I always do it. I eyeball and punch the holes, and I'm done. So my son's album is getting bigger and bigger, so I don't know, we'll probably only get to, I don't know, 2nd or 3rd grade with the stories I'm telling here. So I probably need more albums sooner or later. So I'm adding my little journaling heart here with foam dots. I don't like foam dots. They do give a great effect, but putting them down and taking off the paper from the back, it's I don't know, it's like a pet peeve. I don't like it. I don't want to say I hate it, because hate is a strong word, but it's just not one of my favorite things to do. So whenever I have to be precise with where I'm putting things down, I'm using tweezers. Favorite thing. Next up, I'm just gluing the 2 pages here back to back. And this is actually, it's my favorite glue that I'm using. But in the past couple of months, I don't know, it stopped working, and then like the plastic rolling paper came out, and I don't know, I haven't found a good replacement yet, so I'm still buying it because it's cheap and it's non-permanent. We'll see. So once 2 pages have been adhered together, it's so much easier to punch the holes. I can do that. But yeah, just using the page protector as a template does not work for me. One last step I'm doing here is I'm using a circle punch to add a half circle to make the turning of the transparency easier. I eyeballed again and did not get the center of that page, but that's alright. And here we are, finished with layout 6. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.